Hello and welcome to our foundational class. Today's lesson will learn the basic skill every artist need, whether you are a beginner or a professional. These skills are very, very important, and it all starts with drawing lines, and also not just drawing line, but how to control those lines that you draw, the pressure apply into producing the kind of lines that you want. Because every lines are like a languages, they have their own tone. So how you control those lines, interpret your own expression to what you give when you are trying to create your artwork. So we'll be building simple shapes and also creating light and shade. You are not new to these things, and I want you to grab your pencil now, eraser if you have that, ruler, sheet of paper, or your sketch pad, and let's begin. Anyway, I mentioned ruler, but I do not advise that you use ruler. Okay, let's start something. Now, remember, every drawing starts with lines. Every drawing starts with lines. Every drawing, whatever you need to do. I have this in front of me right now. Every drawing starts with line, right? Then I create lines. I hope you can see my line, right? Now, this is very simple minimalist shape using lines. Now, my pressure sensitivity when I'm trying to create this shape, this item I'm holding, I need to start with faint line, and that's what you are seeing right here. I need to start with faint line, and then from lines, then you start building. You start building. This is one exercise that I advise artists, art students, art enthusiasts to always do. Probably every morning, always try to scribble, scribble, as this help free your wrist, so you can also you can move your lines freely, free flow, and then you achieve your drawing perfectly. So that's that. So lines, you can draw lines in. One of the exercises is this. You make your line, probably if you are practicing this exercise, you might not be able to do that now, up to 10 now, but at least 10 vertical lines, 10 diagonal lines, right? That's what I'm doing right now. So it gets to a point that all this free your wrist, because you move, you're moving your wrist, so it's freeing your wrist. So this is just an introductory class, so we might not be doing so much, but that's what I want to introduce you to. So you make at least 10 vertical line, 10 horizontal line, 10 diagonal lines, and also 10 curve line. Curve line is one of the most complex form of lines to draw, and that's why it is important that we practice all these things, especially curve line. If you are going to enjoy or get it easy, practice curve line very easily. You do scribble. That's the advice I give people. You scribble. You scribble. That's the best form of practicing your curve line. You scribble. So always remember to hold your pen or your pencil lightly. That is why it is always best to handle your pencil at this space, this place. Look at the tip where I'm handling, not here. If you handle your pencil here, there is so much pressure on the tip of the pencil. But if you handle it here, there is freedom. Now, if you move your pen, you notice that you move free. But when it is very close to your paper, there is a lot of pressure, there's a lot of weight on your pencil. And then controlling your lines will be very difficult for you. I hope you've learned something from that. So you draw from your shoulder and elbow, not only your wrist. I hope you are getting that. That is one thing that is very key. When I tell people, I keep telling people, let your wrist move. But there's something you need to understand as well. Your shoulder moves, your elbow moves. Your elbow, your shoulder moves when you draw. Because if they are stiff, the moment you run out of movement, you run out of space to move your lines, then you notice that you are limited. This is wrist now. Look at this. I'm trying to do this. That's where my wrist can go. I can't move further than this. I can't go downward. You see, it's very hard for me to go downward. Then that means I need to start applying pressure. Look at that. But that's not supposed to be. But if I can move my elbow and my shoulder, look at this movement. Just watch this. You see, everything is moving to the direction that I want. That's freedom of expression. I can control to where I want to control it. And I hope you're learning something from this. So you try to keep your lines very smooth and even. So when you flow in one direction. So smooth, even. I hope you get that. Okay, so that's that for line exercise. So let's move on to building shapes, which is what I wanted to start initially. Then building shape. This is what I was trying to build. And I hope you can see my pencil well. Then how do I build shape? I start from simple to complex. That is my own best way of building shape, from simple to complex. So if I have an object that I'm observing, I start from simple shape. What I'm seeing here is a rectangle and a smaller rectangle top in the middle. Then how do I build? There is a curve. So I'm beginning to build, right? There's a curve around it. And it's three-dimensional. Don't forget that. So there's also a curve around this. I hope you're getting that. I know you are not new to what I'm doing, but Some of these basics are very important when you are drawing, very important. So that's why I think it is important for me to reintroduce this thing. So assume you do not know how to draw at all. These are some of the things you start with. Then if you need your eraser, you get. I'm trying to take off these previous rough lines I have here. I think my eraser is terrible. My razor is quite terrible. I think I need to ignore that. The razor is staining the paper. So that's that. So I hope you've learned something from that. So you build shape. You build shape. How do you build shape? The specific things you need to consider in building shapes are all the regular shapes, the geometrical shapes. You understand all geometrical shapes, so that's not a problem. So you build from geometrical shape. You build from geometrical shape, from circle to rectangle. Then you can create whatever you want to create. If you notice what I did here, I started with a rectangle, and then you notice while I was trying to build up, then I introduced a cone, which is this curve. I introduce a cone. I introduce a cone just to make it three-dimensional, right? I hope you're getting that. I wish my eraser was good. I'll just take off the terrible line. So that is how you build your shape. So if you are drawing a tree, you need a circle, you need a rectangle to get a tree done. Simple shape. Now, let us get a tree done. This is a tree. Rectangle. I need a circle. That is just the simple form of drawing a tree. Then I can build from this. I can build from this. I can now start building, right? I hope you are with me. Build with introduce the branches. Remember from rectangle, then I introduce more curves just to create. I hope you get this now. This is what a tree should be like. This is what a tree should be like. So that's that for aligned practice. So as you keep going on, you get perfection. So it's not really hard.